Hello Year 5, welcome to Art Week. Now I am super duper excited because I love art. And you know, a lot of you say that you love art too, so I think you are going to have a fantastic week with me as we explore some space art. Now if you're in 5R, you might be thinking, oh, Miss Rutherford, it says we're doing drawing this term. And Miss Rutherford, your drawings aren't great. Well, how dare you to start with? And secondly, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be using all of the skill and knowledge that I can to make my drawings the best possible. And I'll be using a bit more time than I normally do on the whiteboard. And also, I'm just going to make sure I have fun. Because actually, art and drawing is not always about making the best possible drawing that's going to go in a museum. It's about expressing yourself and having fun. So I'm really excited because we're going to be doing some drawing this week. We're going to be exploring some space art, and it uses lots of brilliant, bright colours. So that's 3 reasons why I cannot wait. And I hope that you have a great week with us too. I want you to challenge yourself, to throw yourself in there, and I'm sure you're going to like what you come out with. Okie dokie, right, this is our starter. Now I'm going to have to do this on my flip chart. So I'm going to be doing this with my mouse rather than a pencil. But your challenge is, once I've shown you what to do, get yourself a pencil and I want you to draw a recognisable picture without taking your pencil away from the page. Okay, try and make it so that we know what object it is that you have made. Now, if you really want to challenge yourself, you can open up Paint or something similar on your computer and have a go like this, because I reckon this is harder. But I would love to see what pictures you create. So, right, I've put my pen down, I've clicked on the button, I'm going to hold that button down and not take it off until I finish my drawing. That's the challenge. I cannot take my pen away. So let's see, what am I going to make? The green might have been a clue. It's one of those say when you see it things. So how long is it going to take you to guess? Whoop. What it is that I'm drawing this morning. Dun, dun, dun. Any ideas yet? It's still a little bit abstract. Do you remember what abstract means from our explorations last term or term before last? Okay, I still haven't taken my pen off the virtual paper yet. I'm going back over some of the lines I've drawn already just to make it bit thicker lines. Ooh. Just going to change the direction of my pen there. And I'm going to go all the way over my writing because I didn't plan the size of this brilliantly, did I? Okay, ooh. I wonder if you can guess what it is. Here, there we go. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this actually. Think you'll be able to guess what it is. Ta-da! Right, I'm going to come back down and I'm going to stop at the bottom. Ta-da! That is my continuous line drawing. Can you guess what it is? I'm not even going to tell you what it is because hopefully you should be able to guess. Although it's not this. But if you said broccoli, I'd also accept that because it does look a bit like broccoli. Okay, challenge yourself. I'd love to see some of your continuous line drawings. What is the most complicated object you can do without taking your pen or pencil off of the paper? All right, let's go on to our lesson today. Okay, this very smiley man is our artist of the term. His name is Peter Thorpe, and he is very famous for his excellent space-themed paintings. Let's listen to what he has to say in his own words. I started the rocket paintings in the 1980s as a way to use paint that I would have otherwise thrown away. After each commercial job I did, there would be a palette half full of paint left over, and it pained me to toss it. But the next painting required a new palette. It finally occurred to me that I could easily paint an abstract background on a blank board or canvas with the leftover paint. But what should I do with the abstracts? I started doing figures and landscapes, and as a long-time space fan, rockets and planets on top of the backgrounds. Some of the figures and landscapes got noticed, but everybody loved the rockets. I have a lifelong love of space exploration, space science, and science fiction, in that order. I've worked for years with pro-space groups as a graphic designer, and suddenly they were asking to buy my fine art rocket paintings. People have liked rocket paintings, so I continue to do them. Thank you to everyone who has supported them. Now, this man is awesome. When you see his paintings, you will understand why I think he's so brilliant. But he's also really eco-conscious. He's also thinking about how he can use up leftover material rather than throwing it away. So he said it pains him to toss away paint because he needs a new palette for his next painting. Now, a palette is a board where you mix colours together. So when he was doing jobs, he would have to have a new palette for every new job because it required different colours. But instead of throwing away the paint, he decided to use it and create art that made him happy. That's the first thing he did. He didn't make it to try and sell it. He just made it because it made him happy. And he used abstracts. Now, abstract painting, can you remember back to term 1 when we were looking at Picasso and all of the abstract work we did then? That's going to help you today. All right, guys, let's move on and have a look at some of his paintings. But before I do, if you haven't looked at his paintings already, hold them in your mind and see if you can predict what they might be like. Now, there's an abstract background, and he said that there are rockets in the foreground, which means at the front of the painting. What do you think they're going to look like? And then we'll go on and see how close your idea in your head was to the actual paintings. Ta-da! Here we go. Here is a selection of 8 of Peter Thorpe's paintings. Look at these brilliant paintings. Look at these bright colours that jump out at you from the screen. I love these backgrounds. Look at these fantastic, absolutely amazing backgrounds that he has painted. And he has made sure that his paintings pop. How do you think the paintings pop? Because it almost looks 3D, doesn't it? It looks like some of these rockets might launch out of the page and come and see you. What do you think about these paintings? What techniques might he have used to create the background? Well, let's focus on the background first then. Now, the background of this painting, I think, is my favourite. I love the streaky lines because it reminds me of a rocket about to launch. It makes me think it's going to whoosh straight up into space. And he's achieved that by using big long streaks with his paintbrush. And he's also, if you can see here, used different kind of splodges, different kind of ways of putting his paint on the canvas to mimic the sky. Think about, I don't know, a sky that has lots of colours in it. It might be a sunset sky that you can see sometimes, which has pinks and oranges and reds and blues. Think about the way that the colours seem to swell. He has captured that really well here by doing lots of different brush strokes. What about the foreground? Now, the foreground is the bits at the front of the painting. So it's these rockets here. These rockets here are the foreground because they're at the front and they cover up part of the background. How do you think he's made them stand out? Now, if you're one of our cartoonists in our Year 5 crew, a lot of you use black or white to highlight the edge of your cartoons to make them stand out. And that's exactly what Peter Thorpe has done. Have a look at this rocket here. You can see it's almost like he's painted it, and then he's got a Sharpie and he's drawn around his rocket to make it stand out. And over here, back to one of my favourites, you've got the same thing, but this top bit has got white around it to highlight it and stand it out. Okay, question for you. Why do you think he uses contrasting colours in his paintings? So we've got colours that are opposite to each other on the colour wheel. We've got colours that when they're next to each other, They really stand out. Why has he made that choice? That's something for you to think about today. Okay, so your challenge today. Head over to the home learning page to find Peter Thorpe's artwork. What I want you to do is pick your favourite and have it in front of you, either printed out or on the screen. Now, it's probably better to keep it on the screen because it will require quite a lot of ink because it's full of colour. So if you are going to print it, make sure you check first with your parents, just to be on the safe side. And actually having it on the screen in front of you still lets you evaluate. Okay? Now these are our evaluation questions that we always use when we're evaluating paintings. So I want you to really think about this. Really study your painting. In fact, put a minute timer on and just stare at it. Just stare at that painting and allow your thoughts to run wild first before you start to answer these questions. And then have a go at answering these questions in full sentences for me. What can you notice about the painting and what do you think? What does it make you feel? That's the one I'm most interested in. How does the painting make you feel? Okay, so head on over to the Year 5 learning page where you will find A4 copies of some of Peter Thorpe's artwork. Have a great day, guys. Bye.